I don't know how I've survived 4 years of this. 4 years of pretending not to notice. 4 years of holding my breath, of masking the air with scented candles and body sprays. 4 years of dodging the uncomfortable truth. My best friend Samantha smells like absolute shit. It wasn't always this bad, or maybe it was, and I was just too polite to acknowledge it. But now? Now, it's impossible to ignore. The first real moment of realization came when she visited my house for the first time. We were sitting in my room, chatting about some drama at school, when my sister walked in, froze, and wrinkled her nose. "Why does it smell like ramen packets in here?" she blurted out. I looked around, panicked. No food. No empty takeout containers, just me and Samantha. My sister's face twisted in horror as the truth dawned on her, and she backed out of the room like she'd just walked into a crime scene. That should have been my wake-up call. But it wasn't. Sleepovers became a nightmare. I watched her roll out her sleeping bag, settle in, and completely skip any form of hygiene before bed. Not once did she reach for a toothbrush. I even tried being subtle, handing her one along with a tube of toothpaste. "Oh, I'll do it later," she said with a smile. She never did it later. By morning, her breath could have melted the paint off the walls. I had to hold my breath when she talked too close. Even offering gum didn't help, because she wouldn't chew it. "I don't like the texture," she'd say. My friend Jessica had it worse. She sat next to Samantha in class, and one day she pulled me aside, looking genuinely traumatized. "I can smell her," she whispered. "From down there." I choked. "What?" Jessica leaned in closer. "When she sits with her legs even slightly open, I get hit with it. And it's bad. Like rotting fish bad." I wanted to deny it, defend my friend. But deep down, I knew Jessica wasn't lying. Her ex-boyfriend, Damien, was an absolute jerk, but he did something I'll never forget. After they broke up, he wrote a diss track about her and published it on SoundCloud. And the chorus? "Yeah, she a stanky bitch." I listened to it in horror. I thought she'd be devastated, maybe even furious. But she laughed. "People will do anything for clout," she said. "He's just bitter." I stared at her. Was she serious? The breaking point came last weekend. We were on a double date, and when we got to our destination, Samantha popped the trunk of her car to grab our bags. But the moment it opened, a smell wafted out so foul, so wrong, that it felt like I had been physically assaulted by the air itself. We all turned to look inside. Piles of underwear. Stained. Unwashed. Some of them weren't just dirty. They had literal mold growing on them. And worst of all, she didn't even react. Didn't seem embarrassed. She just grabbed her bag and shut the trunk like nothing happened. We all exchanged horrified looks. But nobody said a word. That night, I lay awake, my mind racing. I needed to do something. I couldn't let this continue. But how do you tell someone they smell like actual garbage without ruining their life? I thought about hiring a professional. Maybe one of those people who deliver bad news for a living. Or slipping hygiene products into her bag and pretending it was a gift. Maybe I could send an anonymous text. "Hey, this is a random public service announcement. Please shower." But nothing felt right. Jessica had an idea. "What if we make it seem like a school project? A hygiene awareness survey. We can say we're asking everyone about their routines, and maybe she'll get the hint." It was genius. We made a fake Google form and sent it to our group chat. Questions included: how often do you brush your teeth? What's your favorite soap scent? Do you believe hygiene affects social interactions? Samantha's response? "I don't really use soap, just water. It's natural." I nearly screamed. After the survey failed, I took a more aggressive approach. The next time she came over, I burned the strongest candles I had. She walked in and coughed. Ugh. Why does it smell so strong in here? I snapped. Because I'm trying to survive. She blinked. Huh. I took a deep breath. Samantha, I love you. You're my best friend. But you need to take care of your hygiene. She stared at me silent. And then she laughed. I knew you'd say something eventually. I was stunned. You knew. She shrugged. Yeah. I just never cared. People overdo hygiene. I don't like chemicals. I don't like wasting time showering every day. It's not a big deal. My jaw dropped. Not a big. Samantha, people are suffering around you. She rolled her eyes. If they have a problem, they can just stay away. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. All this time, I thought she didn't realize she smelled. But she knew. And she didn't care. That was the moment I knew our friendship was over. I tried to stick around. I really did. But once you know someone has no shame about their own filth, it's impossible to unsee it. The final straw? The day she borrowed my hoodie. She gave it back, unwashed. The smell? Permanent. No amount of detergent, no amount of soaking could get rid of it. I had to throw it away. And that's when I knew. Samantha and I were done. I didn't even need to tell her. I just started pulling away, making excuses. And eventually she stopped reaching out. I felt guilty at first. But then I remembered the trunk full of moldy underwear, the breath that could kill a man, the stench of secrets that followed her everywhere. And I knew I had made the right choice.